Hey everyone, Joe DiFrancesco here, innovator of self-coaching masters, and I teach 6, 7, and 8-figure professionals, such as Stacy here, how to get through personal and/or professional blocks in just about 8 weeks and learn a skill set that can help them for the rest of their lives without using a coach forever and ever and ever. And so I have Stacy here today, who's graciously allowed me to interview her briefly. And normally my Zoom interviews go for a half hour, 45 minutes, but I'm trying a whole new thing. And I've delineated it down to about 5 questions, which I wrote here on index cards so I don't get lost in the shuffle. And that's kind of where we're at. So I'm going to do a quick one as compared to a long one that I normally do. And so this is Stacy, and she's allowing me to interview her and use the interview, which I appreciate tremendously. And we just wrapped up, I guess, maybe a month ago or so. So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, Stacy?
So Stacy Delancey, I'm a senior project manager and producer at Cirque du Soleil, based here in Montreal. I also do creative assistance on projects with Cirque. So I don't know how much you want to know about me, but creative.
I want to know what you like to do, what you don't like to do. How are you doing tonight? Did you have a tough day? Whatever you want to do.
Whatever. Okay. I've been having amazing days, to be honest. And I'm tackling a new role, and I'm enjoying it very much. So I'm having fun with my new position and my team. And then had what else can I say? Challenging projects, but I've been enjoying the process since our last conversations, and things are spinning real fast as per usual. But I've never been calmer, so it's been good.
That's fantastic. I'm happy. I'm definitely happy to hear that. So let's do a little nitty gritty question. So prior to us working together, what would you say maybe one of your, I hate to say problems, but challenge was for you to get through? What a block, an issue, a problem, a challenge, whatever you want to call it.
I think one of the biggest challenges that I had was the imposter syndrome, not believing in myself or believing that I deserve whatever I had achieved. So always doubting myself and doubting my growth and doubting, like, the positions that were offered to me. So I lived a lot in a state of doubt. And I would say the second thing, if I may, is I did not I hadn't, not that I didn't realize, but I wasn't as conscious as I am today of the impact of my environments and how I grew up.
You have more of an awareness about that now, and it doesn't affect you, let's say, as much as it did.
The question is?
The imposter syndrome. Is that still something that you deal with?
I mean, it's still a little bit there, but now I know it. I know when it comes in, and I know the thought process, and I'm able to break it from the get-go, so I'm not giving it room to grow. Good. And I'm using the tools that I've gained through the last I think it's been a little bit more than 8 weeks, but let's say the period of time that I have with you. So now I have my system, and I just know that it's not true, unless I decide that it's true. So I just let it go.
It's those moments of weakness that get to everybody, myself included. So why did you think we were a good fit over maybe other programs you took or self-help courses or whatever? Why did you think that was? Because I know we met off beat, off color in a coffee shop. I was speaking to somebody. Something attracted you two. So what do you think that was?
I think, from what attracted me, I could say, was your calmness in a conversation that seemed to be quite important. And there was definitely a problem, but the way you handled the person and the way you were holding yourself throughout the conversation, I was quite impressed. So I think that we connected because of the transparency of our conversations. I've had other types of coaching in the past, but never have I had a coach that allowed me to feel comfortable to say anything, whether it's good, whether it's bad. There's really that level of comfort and of personalization. I never felt like what you were telling me, even though like I know there's tools that you give to all of your clients or the people that you speak to, but they were really adapted to me and to my reality. And I also felt the growth throughout the process. So how, like, you remember things that I said and you applied them, and every session we would refer a bit back to what was said in the previous session, and then we would build on that. So I think that for me, having a platform where I could say, hey, I'm not happy today, and XYZ, and express things that I've never expressed to anyone, really. So
That's good. I appreciate that tremendously. So what one thing out of the program do you think helped move you along the best?
The best. That's a hard question. I don't know if
You
it's
know that I ask hard questions because it's the only way to get the right answer.
I think one of our first conversation, you talked about, actually when I met you, you you talked about what if I do and what if I don't. And that is something that I've been using ever since, and that has tremendously changed how I approach each situation. And even though like every session, like I learned something different, I would say just being able to do that and process my thoughts, my feelings, my emotions, my workload, you know, my relationships, what if I do, what if I don't, to me is tremendous, and I tell everybody about it. So
good. What I think is a good asset that you have is that you're able to zoom in and zoom out. So you have the big picture, and then you could narrow it down and focus. And that's really important. And so the what if I do, what if I don't really kind of allows you to do that. It's simplistic in its form, but it's definitely in its attack kind of a thing. And so we've spoken about this before, you know, to lie to me or someone else is one thing, to lie to yourself doesn't really true, doesn't get you where you want to be. So the what if I do, what if I don't kind of brings that out. So I'm glad, because that is, other than one other thing in the course that most people like, that is kind of the top thing that I feel best. So I'm glad you thought about that. So we kind of discussed how your life changed a little bit since you worked with me. So we're not even going to get into that a little bit. And you can understand yourself, the process a little better. So what do you think maybe your position and your outcome would be if we didn't work together right now in this place at this time?
ooh.
Yes, you had another hard question.
Yeah. I don't know if my position would be different, but the way I would have approached it been different. So where I would have situated myself would have been different. What I would have allowed the circumstances to be would have been different. You know, my salary would have been different. My even you know, my tasks. Now when I, like the position that I'm now, they initially they offered like a job description that I wasn't quite comfortable with, and without having to ask, they changed it to adapt it to me. So it was not me adapting to the position, it was them adapting to me. And that I think comes from self-awareness and from knowing my worth and for not accepting anything less. And sometimes I feel now that I don't even have to voice it. Before I was very vocal. I've become quiet. You know, I'm like I still like the message is still translated, but very differently. I'm poised. I'm calm. I'm in control. So I would say that.
So pretty much you've gotten rid of the imposter syndrome, went into the belief syndrome. That's really the whole process is about believing in yourself, because when you have that kind of belief, you really become unstoppable. There isn't anything that you won't try, that you won't weigh. And if you do the what if I do, what if I don't in that process, it gives you that core belief. It helps you to understand, you know, the mistakes that we all make. And that's fine, because how do you learn? But to not acknowledge that mistake, take a look at it and learn from it is something that's tragic to me. But you have now that ability to do that. And that's, to me, worth the whole deal. So I'm happy about that. So just going to hit you up for one other question. I'm going to let you go. If there was anybody thinking about the course, let's say they were on the fence, they weren't sure. Do I want this course with Joe? Do I want to work with him? What should I do? What should I take the training or not? I mean, maybe what would you say to them about it?
What if you do? What if you don't? No. I
That was
would
very
say,
good. I like that.
I would say take the opportunity. I think it goes be like, and I was making a joke of what if you do, what if you don't, but I think that if you do, you're gonna anyways, for me, it was self-discovery and self acceptance. I think that for me, there's something beautiful that I haven't tapped into because I was afraid of how much I was going to shine. You know, I was always afraid of outshining someone or shining too bright, as I've been told in the past. And now it's just I'm accepting who I am, and I'm using that to enlighten people around me. It's no longer, oh my God, what if I shine too much? Now it's like, no, you have that light on you. How do you use it for yourself, and how do you use it for others? And if I hadn't talked to you on that day, and if we hadn't started that conversation, maybe I would be where I am today, but the process would have been very different. So to anyone who's hesitating, I would say, I don't know what your life is about, but there's no way that you would not gain and doing this process. You know? And there's something so strong about it, so real, so it's tangible. And it happens, like we stopped our session, like you said, like a month ago, and things were happening so quickly. And I'm like, what's going on? Like I understood so much in so little time. That was my process. I don't know how it is for someone else, but I think that it's definitely worth exploring.
Thank you for that. I appreciate it. And again, you're beautiful inside and out. And I do appreciate you taking the time from me and allowing me to do this. And I will absolutely speak to you soon. Thanks
I
again.
hope so.
All right.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.